This here is the macro and wide angle lens from Freewell. It's basically an extension that goes on the X100 series. Really cool. So essentially the way it works is, just quickly before we jump into the video, you have the wide and the macro. When you put them together, it makes the wide. So the wide can't be used on its own, but the macro can be used on its own. So if you want to get those macro shots, you can. But today we're going to walk around the streets of London at night time with the X100V plus this, while I kind of tell you why street photography made me a better photographer. All photos in today's video are edited in the description down below. There is 164 mobile presets and 188 desktop presets all in one package together for $12. Let's jump into the video and see how it goes. Now, as I've already mentioned, I'm using the Freewell wide angle extension lens on the end, which obviously gives us something a little bit different. Okay, this would be quite nice. See if I come over to the side, we can get the light coming in. There is a light on the right hand side and a guy walking just towards it now. Oh, he's actually stopped just right under it. I think I'll double back on myself a little bit. Now, it has rained over the last couple of days, so there should be a couple of puddles around for reflections, etc., and those types of things. The exposure I'm after, so that should be fine. And we'll play around with that. I'm not too worried about grain or noise. I am shooting on the X100V and I am pushing it to its absolute maximum. So I anticipate there will be a sufficient amount of noise, but that's okay, we'll just deal with it. Might be quite a nice shot of the front of the pub with everyone outside. It's very typically British, so that is desperately too dark. The thing is, I like it, but I think I could probably make it a little bit better. So I'm wondering if I can maybe use a reflection of some sort, just to give me a bit of foreground. Now, you've seen the title, and the title is How Street Photography Made Me a Better Photographer. And what I mean by that is pretty simple. There's no room to hide on the streets when you're taking photography. You either get the photo or you don't. And you can have thousands of visions when you're walking out and you're taking your photos, you're looking up, you're looking at buildings and people and reflections, and you're trying all manner of photos. And truth be told, sometimes they really do work, and sometimes, well, they just don't. And that's one of the things that made me a better street photographer, well, actually just a better photographer in general, is that I accepted that I was going to make those mistakes. It helped me understand that there's a lot of trial and error, not just in street, but in all aspects of photography. On top of that, obviously, when you go out and you do street photography, it allows you to, well, make those mistakes. If I was in a professional setting and I was out on a commercial shoot, or I was trying to learn by going to a business and taking photos for someone professionally, what would happen is I would make mistakes while trying to do it properly, professionally. And the reason that, of course that's okay, but the reason that's a negative is that if you make a mistake on a job, there's a consequence, there's a repercussion for you making that mistake. What that means is you then feel negative about that experience, and you might get upset or disheartened or unmotivated because you've made that mistake. When the reality is, it's totally fine to make those mistakes. And that's why I think street photography is really key and important, because you can go out And like, I've been out before and I've taken photos all day and I've gone home and scrapped the lot, like literally the entire camera roll, because I wasn't happy with what I had taken. And that is just part of it. But because there was no repercussion or consequence, I was fine with that. Like that shot just then, it's a bit meh in comparison to the other ones I just took. But it helped me learn, helped me understand that sometimes you make mistakes. And I'd rather make the mistakes here on the streets rather than on a professional job. Because then when I go and do a professional job for someone, I've already ironed out those niggly mistakes that I might do on a regular occurrence. There is a puddle here, so let's see if we can get something in that. I know, a reflection. It's what I love, so don't hate me for it. It's just what I enjoy getting a photo of. That's the other thing this has taught me, being out on the streets. It's taught me that there's certain compositions that I prefer. Of course I'm going to prefer them because they look visually better, but I wouldn't know that if I hadn't gone out and shot. Yes, I'm walking up onto the Lloyd's building, with no doubt going to get told off, but I want to get a photo of the gherkin from up here. Little top-down shot, because I've got the wide, it'll look quite cool. They're doing some works over there, which is cool. It's not quite wide enough to get everything in it, but we can get this taxi and these people getting in it, which is a nice shot because it's top down. So now I'm not saying you have to go out and do street photography to be a better photographer, but it's a no fuss, no consequence way to get better. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in London or if you're in the ass end of nowhere, which is where I actually live, for those that didn't know. I live down in Wales. And on times, just going out in places like that will give you something that you may not expect, because you're more likely to get frustrated there. You're more likely to make mistakes. When you are starting out, it can be quite daunting, obviously, taking your camera out and, you know, getting some photos along the street. Can be quite daunting. That was a terrible photo. And I appreciate that, because I felt the same way when I first started. I'm going to do a video talking about this in the future, but what you have to do is focus on the thing you're good at doing, which is essentially pressing a button, and just focus on that. Ignore everyone else, you know, keeping in mind I'm walking through the streets of London, talking to myself, well, talking to you, but I'm imagining that I'm talking to one of you directly and having a conversation as I'm walking down the street. There's no difference in my eyes. Did that work out? Framing was a bit wrong, but kind of spot here on this corner, because you've got Sky Garden in the top there, got people walking through the frame left and right. I think I'll just focus on the Sky Garden itself, because I don't really care too much about getting the person in focus. It's the Sky Garden I want to get in focus itself. Although people walking towards me will think that I want to get a photo of them, but I'm actually not interested. It's more of just filling the empty space within the frame. This one was almost a good, I mean, it is a good photo, but it was almost what I was after. I think if he was a little bit further away, it would have been a better photo. Maybe on the curb, it would have been better. But he kind of tucked the corner and went straight in front of me. Not sure why the shutter's being a bit slow on this, but I'm going to take that because the guy came around on a bike and it looked nice. So I'm happy with that. Now, I do appreciate that when walking around the streets of London, it is of course, easier than being somewhere else. That's not lost on me. I do appreciate that. And if you do get a chance, obviously do come up to London or down to London or fly to London, whatever, to get that chance, because it is worth it. I mean, this is nice. Being that I've got a wider angle lens on, I wanted to come to One New Change to get this shot, because it is a nice reflection shot. And being that I've spoke about reflections, it would make sense to get it while I'm here. So let us go and find it. So you go to level 1, and then level 1 you just go over by the side of the F1 simulation thing. It's also a cool shot looking down. We'll get that in a minute. We'll go down the bottom actually to get that shot, but you come over here. I've said this before in other videos, but if you're new here, come over to this part and you can kind of just lean round and get a nice reflection of St. Paul's. Look at that, lovely reflection. Now, I'm in no way saying that you going out and doing street photography is going to make you a better photographer, but it could help, because you are going to go and make those mistakes, and you are going to be in a situation where you learn by those mistakes, and therefore you are going to become a better photographer. So you're not going to directly go out and go, okay, I'm going to take a couple of photos today, and you're going to be a better photographer. It's just going to take time, but you can take those non-consequential photos and walk away positive, knowing that you're learning something as you're going. I don't know, at least that's how I see it. At least that's how I picture the way that I've benefited from going out and doing street photography. I've become a street photographer, even when really I'm a car photographer by trade, and I'm good at that. I just really love walking around. I know it's in the name, but I just enjoy going for a walk with the camera and taking some photos. And over the years, if you go back and look at the old stuff, I've just got better and better as I've gone on. Compositions have got better, exposure, editing, and that's all learned from making mistakes. And that's the only way you're going to learn. I can sit here and talk you through the billions of ways of taking photos and editing and understanding the streets and being all anal about it, but that's not going to help you. What's going to help you is you literally just picking up the camera, going out and fucking up. That's what's going to help you. Now, I appreciate that watching someone like myself doing photography will help you navigate the streets or navigate that genre of photography a little bit easier, but you have to go and do it yourself. And it just goes to show, I've done hundreds of videos in London, and every time I've gone out, it's always slightly different. Similar, but there's always something different about the way that I've shot that specific scene or that specific scenario. So you might go and do something hundreds of times, but there's always a different way of approaching it at some point in the future. Like this shot here, I've got so many times before, but let's go for this one here. We've got the dude on the left. It's very nice. Let's get it in landscape as well. Focusing obviously on St. Paul's. Just nice, clean, simple. I guess I should probably talk a little bit more about this feature on front. I have mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but essentially the way that it works is, if you know what a diopter is, essentially it's that. So this whole front element comes off the front of the X100V. I'll link it below. They also do other systems. And essentially what it is you've got a diopter coupled with a macro diopter. Coupled together, it creates a wide angle lens. Now, I don't have an ND filter, but these beautiful cameras do have internal ND filters. So let's see if I can find it. ND filter on. And now I'm going to go full manual. And I'm going to go to a longer exposure. I'm going to have to wait for a bus though, obviously. We're at 1 second, f2, ISO 400. Just got to try and stay steady as it goes through. I think you'll agree that it's pretty good. It turned out pretty cool. I'll link it below. This isn't a sponsored video, but they did send it out to me with no obligation to post at all. They also sent a telephoto version, which I personally didn't like, so I didn't use it. But you might. I'll link it down below. If you want to win this, I'm going to send this exact one to somebody because I've just got rid of my X100V, which I'll explain in a different video coming soon. So if you want to win this, really simple, just comment down below Freewell wide lens and your Instagram handle, and I'll choose one of those comments in 7 days, and you will you'll win this for I don't know, even if you don't have one, maybe you can just sell it on or something, I don't know, but I don't need it. So basically, yeah, comment those 3 things below. Make sure you include your Instagram handle so I can get in contact with you, and I'll choose a winner for this in 7 days. I'm really happy with the way the photos turned out. Again, they were all edited with my presets. There's a link down in the description for those. Only $12, super affordable. We're gonna have a quick look at the hashtag OpticalWander over on Instagram, where you can show me the work you're creating and in turn inspire me and inspire others. So the hashtag is sitting at 855,000 posts. I'm gonna click on there and it's just basically gonna show me everything there is to do with the hashtag OpticalWander. So nighttime shot in London caught my eye because obviously I've just done a nighttime video. Let's keep going down. Oh, that's actually really cool. That's a really cool frame. Frames. That first one though, I like how you framed the person in between the guy doing the handstand. That's actually really cool. Another cool frame I mean, I'm gonna assume it's Amsterdam, and it is Amsterdam because it looks like Amsterdam. Great photo. We'll do one more. I like that dreamy effect. That's really cool. I like this. Nice, really nice set. I mean, this is from a reposting page, but that first one is by Thomas K. So great work, Thomas. And we'll do this as the last one. Nice reflection shot of a shadow. Really like that. If you do want to get featured on this channel, you can just use the hashtag OpticalWander at the end of every video. I'm going to be going through it until I find a better way to do it. It is a bit difficult sometimes now because of the way that they have made that whole hashtag sequence available, but we'll see how it transpires in the future. Again, go and comment down below the 3 words that I mentioned just now. Make sure you include your Instagram handle, and I will send this to somebody in 7 days' time. With all that being said, create more, stress less, and I'll see you in the next one.